I'm Liyana Hassanel, and this is Nightline, the top stories. Malaysia and Turkey pledged to deepen collaboration in trade, defense and other key sectors. AGC decides no further action on Zahid Hamidi's 47 charges of CBT, corruption and money laundering related to Yayasan Akal Budi funds. Good morning. Malaysia and Turkey have agreed to form strategic cooperation in the economic, military and nuclear energy sectors, besides the 40 billion ringgit bilateral trade target between the two countries. This was among the areas agreed at the first Malaysia-Turkey High-Level Strategic Cooperation Council meeting in Ankara, which was co-chaired by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim and President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Earlier, the Prime Minister was given an official welcome at the presidential complex. Anwar then held a 4-eye meeting with Erdogan. Both leaders later chaired the High-Level Strategic Cooperation Council meeting. Among the agreed areas were cooperation in the renewable and nuclear energy sectors. This is in addition to sharing expertise in military training and education. Both leaders also agreed that the second meeting will be held in Malaysia in 2028. At their joint media conference, Anwar said bilateral relations need to be strengthened through concrete economic cooperation.
You have a great economy, and we, of course, relatively smaller, but then growing at a very fast pace. As you know, we have now become the main attraction for semiconductors, AI, data centers.
Anwar also witnessed the exchange of 7 memoranda of understanding between companies from both countries. The deals involved information and communication technology, finance and investment. At the same media conference, Anwar also expressed Malaysia's desire to explore Turkey's vast potential, especially in the halal industry and Islamic finance.
Now I would, of course, extend it now to halal industry and Islamic finance, which is a potential for both of these countries, both of our countries, to explore and advance.
He added that the sector is identified as a new strategic field that can strengthen economic relations between both countries. Earlier, Anwar has been conferred the Order of the Republic, one of Turkey's highest state honors. The award was presented in Ankara by Erdogan in recognition of the long-standing bilateral relationship between Malaysia and Turkey. Anwar said the conferment reflected the strong ties between the two countries, built on mutual trust, respect and shared priorities. The Prime Minister later travelled to Istanbul, where he attended a roundtable session with Turkish and Malaysian industry leaders. In his opening address, Anwar said there was significant room to further strengthen cooperation between Turkish companies and their Malaysian counterparts.
You have your strength. For example, of course, the strongest, of course, is the defense industry. And we have decided as a country to focus on the strength of Turkey, your companies, to procure. You have major efforts in construction, and they are unrivaled in the region. And you are venturing into many of the manufacturing industrial base.
Anwar added that Malaysia remains committed to positioning Turkey as a key strategic partner in future industrial development, in line with shared goals of building a resilient, high-technology-based economy. A total of 39 Turkish companies and 7 Malaysian companies took part in the 30-minute roundtable session. Before flying back home, Anwar said that bilateral relations between the Malaysia and Turkey have reached a significant milestone with the establishment of the High-Level Strategic Cooperation Council. He explained that the council is an exclusive mechanism established by Ankara only with its closest diplomatic partners.
Ini suatu permulaan yang menarik kerana tidak banyak negara yang kita adakan hubungan dua hala pada tingkat itu. Kerana dalam high level ini, council ini, dia mesti pengusikan bersama oleh Presiden dan saya.
Anwar said this in a media conference with Malaysian media on Thursday. He explained that such honours are rarely extended, particularly to developing countries, and it clearly reflects Malaysia's standing in the eyes of Turkey. The Attorney General's Chambers, AGC, said that it has decided to take no further action, or NFA, in Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi's case, in which he was granted a discharge not amounting to acquittal DNAA on all 47 charges in 2023. The AGC said the case has now concluded, as it will not take any further action due to lack of evidence. In a two-page statement explaining its decision on Thursday, the AGC stressed that the decision was made based on professional and legal considerations, by taking into account the interest of justice, the integrity of the prosecutorial process, and the need to ensure certainty and transparency in the criminal justice system. The AGC said the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, had carried out further and detailed investigations following the 2023 DNAA. These investigations focused on the source of funds, how the funds were obtained and used, as well as matters raised in 6 representations submitted to the AGC after Zahid was called to enter his defense in 2022. According to the AGC, after examining all the materials and new evidence obtained as a result of that further investigation and scrutiny, it found that the existing evidence is not sufficient to support the continuation of the prosecution for all those charges. The AGC said it had also considered 4 matters in arriving at its conclusion: the scope and focus of the investigation at its early stages, which were directly related to the charges; the prosecution's internal considerations and evaluations recorded at the early stages on whether the evidence was suitable and sufficient to support the prosecution and the viability of continuing it; the MACC's subsequent further and detailed investigations to complete and refine the overall factual picture of the case; and lastly, the findings of those further investigations, which covered the entire period of Yayasan Akal Budi's establishment and operations, including the flow and contribution of funds over time. On September 4th, 2023, the High Court in Kuala Lumpur granted Zahid the DNAA on all 47 charges after the prosecution applied to discontinue the trial. Zahid, meanwhile, welcomed the AGC's decision. In his social media post, he said the truth has prevailed. Zahid also said everything has been answered. The Executive Council of the Football Association of Malaysia, FAM, is prepared to collectively step down from their posts if it would avert a FIFA suspension. Acting President Datuk Muhammad Yusof Mahadi said this was among the options being explored by FAM, with a decision to be made without waiting for the Court of Arbitration for Sport to decide on its appeal against FIFA sanctions.
Untuk memastikan bahawa FAM jangan sampai kena ban. Maknanya kalau FAM tu perlu letak jawatan untuk elakkan ban, itu mungkin option yang terbaik yang kita boleh katakan sekarang lah. Apa option yang boleh mengelakkan ban tu, kita akan pergi itu option yang the first option ataupun option terbaik. Kita tunggu sampai kita mesyuarat Exco nanti. Harap dalam 1-2 minggu ni kita akan dapat finalize apa keputusan muktamad kita lah.
Yusof, however, confirmed that none of FAM's Exco members have relinquished their posts yet. He added that if stepping down is the best way forward, it would be done unanimously involving all Exco members. Asian Football Confederation Secretary General Datuk Sri Windsor Paul John on Wednesday said FIFA and the AFC have the authority to intervene and temporarily take over FAM's administration to restore proper governance. He said FIFA can appoint a committee of 5 people acting as an executive body, and their service period could be 3 to 9 months, depending on the work needed to stabilize the association. Meanwhile, Datuk Nur Azman Rahman has been reinstated as the FAM Secretary General. In a statement issued by the football body's disciplinary committee on Thursday, they decided that the suspension of Azman has ended and that he will resume his duties with immediate effect. He was earlier suspended with immediate effect in October last year due to a FIFA investigation into falsified documents for 7 mixed heritage players, leading to FIFA sanctions, including a fine and player bans. The Home Ministry will introduce passports and MyCard with enhanced security features to prevent the falsification of identity documents. The implementation of the initiative is expected to begin this June, in line with current security needs and technological advancements. Home Minister Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail said existing passports and MyCard can still be used until the new documents are implemented. He stressed that the move is particularly important to maintain the credibility of the Malaysian passport, which is currently ranked among the world's best in terms of visa-free travel access.
Jabatan Imigresen dan Jabatan Pendaftaran tahun ini juga akan menyaksikan pasport baru, dokumen pasport perjalanan Malaysia yang baru dan juga MyCard yang baru. Ya, itu akan berlaku dalam kuartal 2, penghujung kuartal 2 atau awal kuartal 3 tahun ini.
He was speaking to reporters after the Home Ministry's New Year's address in Putrajaya on Thursday. He added that the public will be informed in advance before the implementation to avoid congestion or a rush to obtain the new passport or MyCard. On another note, Saifuddin said children born overseas to Malaysian mothers will automatically be conferred citizenship starting around June or July this year. He explained that the long wait is due to the need for several preparatory steps following Parliament's approval of the constitutional amendment.
Kami harus kemudiannya mempersiapkan pula dokumen-dokumen atau borang-borang yang berkaitan. Kemudian memaklumkan kepada malawakil Malaysia di seluruh dunia.
Saifuddin added that one of the most important steps was finalizing 2 versions of the 1964 citizenship regulations in both Malay and English, which have been completed and reviewed by the Attorney General's chambers. He also said that of the nearly 50,000 citizenship applications carried over from previous years, fewer than 4,000 remain undecided. And he is optimistic that all applications can be resolved by the first quarter of 2026. Bank Negara Malaysia BNM's international reserves has increased to $125.5 billion as of December 31st, 2025. According to the central bank, the level is higher than the previously recorded $124.3 billion, marking Malaysia's strongest reserve position since 2014. In a statement on Thursday, BNM said the reserves are sufficient to finance 4.7 months of imports of goods and services and cover 0.9 times the total short-term external debt. The main components of the reserves were foreign currency reserves, International Monetary Fund reserves, special drawing rights, gold and other reserve assets, with total assets amounting to 602.2 billion ringgit. The government will ensure that small, high-impact projects are implemented immediately under the 13th Malaysia Plan. Economy Minister Akmal Nasrullah Muhammad Nasir said this will be done through close coordination between the Economy Ministry, the Finance Ministry and the Works Ministry, as well as through expedited processes using approved procurement methods.
Kita tidak mahu hanya sekadar pengumuman. Kita kena pastikan ada pelaksanaannya kerana bila kita bercakap soal pelaksanaan, ianya memerlukan pemahaman dan juga kerjasama pelbagai pihak.
Akmal said this after delivering the New Year's address for 2026 to ministry staff. He said among the small projects that need to be implemented immediately are repairs to infrastructure affected by floods, pothole-ridden rural roads, dilapidated quarters, as well as rundown clinics and schools. Meth found and hollowed out shopping boards. This and more after this breather.
Dia bawa memory, dia macam walk down memory lane lah.
It's a fresh look. Dia mengimbau kembalilah romantic fantasy tu. Ini antara cinta antara dua dunia. Korang kena saksikan. Sekarang saya cerita lebih spoiler.
Kalau nak release stress, tension apa semua bagai dan sambut New Year dengan hati yang ceria dan gembira, korang kena tengok filem Duyung Legenda Aurora.
Inilah satu filem sangat menghibur and entertaining.
Support filem tempatan.
Saya akan bertanggungjawab dan kahwin dengan awak.
Awak dah curi first kiss Mel.
Contoh. Tapi Mikael ni ada ke ciri-ciri dalam checklist cinta Mel?
Takkan maafkan Along nak Angah sebab paksa Mikael bercinta pura-pura dengan Mel.
Betul ke? No.
My Stolen First Love, Jumaat dan Sabtu 9 malam. Terbaru di Lestari TV3 dan stream juga melalui tonton.
Suara terakhir yang tidak akan pernah padam. Ini adalah kekejaman yang menghapuskan suara kecilnya.
Pengorbanan dan konflik keluarga bersatu dalam kisah-kisah yang penuh emosi. Misi penculikan cinta.
Cinta Farhani?
Kerana terpaksa, aku relakan.
Who are you?
Kakak.
Itu je yang kami adik-beradik boleh tolong.
Karlisa.
Adik!
Bukan wanita sempurna.
Nampak lain.
Hanya di slot wayang setiap Jumaat 1:30 hari di TV3 dan stream juga melalui tonton.
Welcome back. Former Army Chief General Tan Sri Muhammad Hafizuddin Jantan and his two wives have been remanded to facilitate investigations into allegations of receiving bribes involving Army procurement tender projects. Hafizuddin was remanded for 7 days, while his wives were remanded for 6 and 3 days respectively. The remand orders were issued by Magistrate Ezrin Zakaria at the Putrajaya Magistrates Court on Thursday, following an application by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC. During the proceedings, an MACC investigating officer sought the 7-day remand order against Hafizuddin on the grounds that the investigation involves allegations of the planned receipt of bribe money, believed to involve a wider corruption network. It also enables the MACC to conduct further investigations, including examining and reviewing a large volume of procurement-related documents, as well as tracing other individuals believed to be involved and identifying assets and proxies suspected to have been used. On Wednesday, Hafizuddin and his two wives were among 5 individuals detained for allegedly conspiring to move 2.4 million ringgit. All suspects aged between 20 and their 50s were detained after giving their statements at the MACC headquarters in Putrajaya. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Ibrahim, in the meantime, advised all civil servants to uphold integrity and trust in carrying out their duties for the benefit of the people and the nation. In a Facebook post shared on Sultan Ibrahim Sultan Iskandar's official page, the king stated that civil servants are the backbone of national administration and play a vital role in ensuring that government policies and plans are implemented effectively. The advice was conveyed when the Yang di-Pertuan Agong granted an audience to Chief Secretary to the government Tan Sri Syamsul Azri Abu Bakar at Istana Bukit Tunku in Kuala Lumpur on Thursday. The king emphasized the importance of a work culture rooted in honesty, transparency and efficiency, while rejecting any form of abuse of power, corruption or misconduct that could erode public trust in state institutions. During the meeting, Sultan Ibrahim was briefed on current public service issues, including efforts to strengthen governance and institutional accountability. A practicing lawyer is facing the death penalty or life imprisonment, along with whipping, after being charged in the Marang Magistrates Court over 3 counts of aiding and abetting the distribution and possession of drugs. However, no plea was recorded from the accused, 32-year-old Che Muhammad Amir Shafiq Che Musa. The man is alleged to have aided a 26-year-old inmate, Muhammad Shafiq Shami Muhammad Zafri, to distribute drugs inside the lockup of the Kuala Terengganu High Court. The offence is said to have taken place between 9 a.m. and noon on December 23rd last year. The accused also faces 2 additional charges of aiding the same individual with the possession of various types of drugs at the same location, date and time. The court fixed April 29th for the next mention of the case. Earlier, Terengganu Police Chief Datuk Muhammad Khairi Khairuddin said the operation was uncovered after security checks with a body scanner found dozens of drug packets concealed inside an inmate's body. The seized drugs are estimated to be worth around 16,000 ringgit, enough to supply up to 800 users. In Sabah, police have foiled an attempt to smuggle methamphetamine by concealing the drugs inside hollowed-out chopping boards. An operation carried out last Tuesday led to the seizure of 39.5 kilograms of drugs worth more than 1 million ringgit during a raid on a house in Penampang. The late-night raid, carried out at around 11:30 p.m., also saw the arrest of 2 men aged 28 and 29, believed to be the masterminds behind the smuggling operation. Police recovered some 40 packages suspected to contain methamphetamine during the search.
Syndicate ini menggunakan emo melalui serikat penghantaran yang mana mereka menggunakan penghantaran melalui laut daripada Kuala Lumpur ke negeri Sabah.
Jaute explained that the chopping boards were cut in half, with one part hollowed out to store the drugs and then sealed back together, marking the first time Sabah police have come across such a smuggling method. Initial urine tests showed both suspects tested positive for drugs. They have been remanded to assist investigations under the Dangerous Drugs Act. Trump's immigration crackdown turns deadly. The details when Nightline returns.
Anissa ni dah tak boleh belajar dekat sini.
Dia mengandung anak luar nikah.
Kalau kamu buat silap, kamu kena bertanggungjawab ya.
Macam mana songkok ni boleh ada dalam bilik hotel tu?
Kau perkosaan aku. Pergi, kau bergabung sebelum aku panggil polis.
Baitul Khadijah akan tetap dipersalahkan.
Kenapa ni?
Pasal Batul Alif. Mak Alif nak mati.
Itu tiram. Macam ada hantu.
Hantu? Duit sewa kat Kuala Lumpur tu je korang lebih 1,000.
Masa kita pergi konsert road tour, malam Jumaat.
Memperkenalkan isteri baru saya.
Di Cerekerama TV3 Sabtu ini 10 malam dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Baru-baru ini tular anak kecil tidak dibenarkan dibawa ke majlis. Salahkah nak bawa anak-anak? Kegagalan buah pinggang antara penyakit yang semakin membimbangkan. Apakah faktor dan rawatannya?
Larangan merokok di premis makanan masih lagi ada yang tak edah.
Lampu kenderaan pelbagai warna mengundang bahaya juga kemalangan.
Dan soal wang pengukuhan ringgit.
MSI setiap Isnin hingga Jumaat
hanya ditonton dan TV3.
Wanita penuh tempo, penuh cerita. Inilah Nona, inspirasi bertemu realiti. Setiap warna mempunyai keupayaan membangkitkan pelbagai mood dan emosi. Semoga istirahat anda memberi makna yang indah walau tempohnya hanya seketika. Dan terus setia sejam bersama kami kerana Nona, inspirasi wanita untuk semua. Nona di TV3 dan stream ditonton.
News from the foreign front. A federal officer with Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, has fatally shot a woman during the Trump administration's latest immigration crackdown on a major U.S. city, prompting school closures and calls to resist immigration enforcers.
No!
37-year-old Renee Nicole Macklin Good was shot in the head on Wednesday while sitting in her SUV on a snowy residential street south of downtown Minneapolis. Video footage showed ICE agents approaching her vehicle in the middle of the road, and as the SUV began to pull away, one agent aimed his gun at the driver, and at least 3 gunshots can be heard. Trump administration officials described the incident as an act of domestic terrorism, alleging the woman attempted to run over ICE officers, prompting an officer to shoot in self-defense. However, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey rejected the self-defense claim, describing the actions of the ICE agents as reckless and irresponsible.
They are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying, getting killed. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite. People are being hurt. Families are being ripped apart.
Authorities are investigating the shooting. Minneapolis public schools have cancelled classes and other activities on Thursday and Friday, citing safety concerns following Wednesday's incidents across the city. The shooting also sparked protests as thousands took to the streets of Minneapolis, San Francisco, New York, and other U.S. cities. The United States says it will control sales of Venezuelan oil indefinitely and decide how the proceeds of those sales are used as President Donald Trump's administration consolidates control over the South American country after abducting its president. The U.S. Department of Energy said Wednesday that it has begun marketing Venezuelan oil on global markets, and the revenue from those sales will first be deposited into accounts controlled by the U.S. at internationally recognized banks. All of the funds will then be allocated at the U.S. government's discretion for the benefit of both Americans and Venezuelans. In the hours that followed, Trump suggested that Venezuela has agreed to use the proceeds to buy exclusively American-made products. On to sports now. Badminton, the 2026 Malaysia Open. 3 national doubles pairs kept Malaysia's hopes alive in the Super 1000 tournament after earning impressive wins to reach the quarterfinals in Bukit Jalil on Thursday. Playing at the Axiata Arena, world number 2 duo Aaron and Wu Yik were pushed to the limit before defeating the unheralded Chinese pair Chen Shujun and Liu Yang 21-14, 14-21, 21-14 in 61 minutes. The second seeds will take on Indonesia's Sabar Karyaman Gutama and Reza Pahlavi Isfahani in the quarterfinals. Joining them was world number 5 men's pair Man Wei Chong and T Kai Woon, who advanced with a dominant 21-9, 21-15 win over the 26th ranked Japanese duo Hiroki Midorikawa and Kyohei Yamashita in just 29 minutes. Next up, they will face world number 1 pair Kim Won-ho and Seo Seung-jae of South Korea. Meanwhile, the only other Malaysian pair to reach the quarterfinals were reigning world mixed doubles champion Chen Tang-ji and To Yi-wei. The world number 4 duo secured a hard-fought 21-13, 23-21 victory over compatriots Hu Pangron and Cheng Su-yin, setting up a last 8 clash with China's Jiang Zhenbang and Wei Yaxin. Earlier, other national shuttlers suffered heavy defeats in the second round, with the latest to crash out being men's doubles pair Nur Muhammad Azrin Ayub and Tan Wee Kiong. The world number 28 pair fell 15-21, 16-21 to South Korea's Kim Won-ho and Seo Seung-jae. In the women's doubles, world number 2 pair Peli Tan and Amtina suffered their first defeat to world number 60 Indonesian pair Febriana Dwi Puji Kusuma and Melissa Trias Puspitasari, losing 24-26, 17-21 in 53 minutes. Suffering the same fate were world number 7 men's doubles duo Goza Fei and Nur Izzuddin Rumsani, who fell 13-21, 17-21 to 16th ranked English duo Ben Lane and Sean Vendy. Earlier, world number 9 mixed doubles pair Go Soon Huat and Siobhan Lai were defeated 9-21, 17-21 by the American duo Presley Smith and Jenny Guy, who are ranked 22 places below them. Malaysia's men's singles challenge ended early once again as Leong Junhao bowed out in disappointment, going down 18-21, 11-21 to top Indonesian shuttler Jonathan Christie. And that concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look at the winter fun in Budapest, Hungary, where children and adults alike sled and ski down snow-covered hills, embracing the season with energy and laughter. With that, I'm Liyana Hassanel. Thank you for watching and be well, Malaysia.